You know, these days it's really rare that I get as excited as a little kid on Christmas morning when I'm opening up a new e-gadget, but thanks to Voro Motors, we have got the fastest stock e-bike you can buy. This is the Eide Pro SS. It's faster than any stock Polaria or Sur-Ron, and I'm really excited to get this thing out of the box. So I hope you're willing to join me today. I'm gonna carry you along on my GoPro. You're gonna be watching me over here. You're gonna get a detailed first and third person view unboxing of what it's like when you just get this thing delivered to your house and you spend an hour dragging it up your porch into your living room. So let's roll the intro and get started. Let's take the lid off this box and see exactly what is inside. So, okay, nothing fell out. I'm gonna dispose of that off to the side. This little box was actually inside the package at one point, but when I was lifting it into my house, it fell out. So I think the first order of business is gonna be to open this box. All right, got the trusty box cutter. We're gonna see what's inside here. I'm guessing charger and manual and maybe some keys or something. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited in a long time to unbox something. Okay, this is a front plate for the front of our fender slash bike. I'll chuck this out of the way. See what's inside this little box. Let's see here. Ah, the display. Nice. I've seen this display in other videos. It looks really cool. So I'm gonna gently set that aside. Hopefully it won't break it. Ah, pedals, nice. Wow, these are heavy. Got little spikes on them too, so for extra grips. I've got some really cool off-road trails by my house, so I'm just gonna send this thing around when I get it all put together. Pedal number 2, a small pouch, a jingling pouch. I think this is tools. Yep, tools that I just lost half of. All right, so in the tool pouch comes with a screwdriver, comes with some pretty high quality looking Allen wrenches, and we've got a 13 mil hex wrench and a 17 mil. So I'm guessing this is to put our lug nuts on and stuff. Set those aside, we will definitely need those. And the only other thing in the box is a couple of bolts and a whole crap load of zip ties. We're talking like 20 zip ties. Oh wait, the manual's in here too. Let's see what this manual looks like real quick. There's a singular page that's like how to start the bike. That's always good information to have. Put the key in, turn the key on. Full color manual, all in English, and 34 pages long, including a wiring schematic diagram in the back. This is awesome. That's hard to find for scooters and stuff online, but if you need to do any customizations, now you know exactly how the thing's wired together. This is freaking sweet. Nice manual. You see this thing? It's like full color pictures, very detailed, everything you might want to know, plus more. Awesome. Set that over there. All right, I'm gonna get all these cardboardy pieces off the bike and reveal the beast. This is the only e-bike I know of that comes nominal at 72 volts. Normally you have to buy thousands of dollars worth of upgraded batteries and controllers to get your stuff to run at 72 volts, but not no mo. Sur-Ron has been milking the fact that they were the king of the game for years, and then they finally got overtaken by this company who just came out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, we can do everything that your customers want and better and cheaper. So sick front tire there. It's got the it's got some covers here, zip tied to the spokes. This thing only costs like $200 more than a Sur-Ron, and it goes almost 20 miles per hour faster. And it has a bigger battery. And it looks cooler. I think it's a little bit smaller though, but we'll see. We've got some bubblicious wrap all over this thing. Ugh, that is shrink on there good. Okay, I'm gonna start cutting some zip ties. Let's see what happens. So when you're cutting the zip ties on these front forks and things, you wanna be really careful not to go through the foam and scratch up your forks. So I'm gonna actually get some wire snips and just snip these things. Of course, this camera is on my toolbox. Why would it be anywhere else? Nice. I can see why they included all those zip ties now. Here's another box. I bet you this is the charger. Oh, that's heavy. That's gotta be the charger. Let's open this one up. All right, inside this one we have got, oh yes, the charger. Holy smokes. This is the biggest charger I have ever seen on any gadget. What the heck? Dang, a 10 amp stock charger with this huge built-in fan. It does weigh a lot. That's not portable. That's not going with you places, but wow, that's awesome. Looks like it has a custom sort of XLR charging port. I don't know the name of that. Never seen it before. This is awesome. 84 volt, 10 amps. So this is like an 850 watt charger. Gotta be careful you're not like using your microwave or your vacuum with this thing. You'll blow the breaker in your house. It's got a little instruction manual that comes with the charger too that tells you what the different colors of lights mean. I need to get this wooden pallet out of here and get this thing up on a stand. So that's the only way I'm gonna get the front tire on this thing. Okay, got our little motorcycle stand all set up. Looks like there's a cutout in the wood back here that the rear tire sinks into. It's just about as heavy as I thought it would be. There's some sort of block of wood on the front fork here. Let me make sure we're not bolted in on the front. Of course we are. They screwed this thing into a block of wood on the front. As much as I wanted to play nice and ship this thing back to Voro Motors, I do not think they're getting it back. For one, the pallet already broke, so that wasn't even my fault. That was a delivery guy's fault. Okay, maybe now we can get her on a stand. Woo! Sorry, Voro, you're not getting this pallet back. There's no way. It's crunched beyond repair, and I'm not gonna buy plywood to build another one. Wow. So there it is, fresh out the box. You can see our wooden block is still attached there. Battery runs down through here. Got rear motor, big, huge chain drive. Nice fatty sprocket in the back. This motorcycle stand is extra precarious though. Our rear suspension is hidden under here. Oh, that's why it was all saggy. We gotta connect our own bolts there. Boop, 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 boop. Here's our key on top of here. I'll leave it in the off position for now. Got our headlight on the front. We just gotta put the bars on, like so. Ooh, very light bars. And then we have to attach our front tire still, once we figure out how to get this block off. God, it looks so nice. Just the build quality of this thing. It says Eide Pro at the bottom there. There's a big heat sink in the front. This is an air cooler. So as you ride, the air blows on this piece and cools it off. Very nice. All right, so I think I'm dumb. I don't think I need to do anything with this wood block. I'm pretty sure these straps just come right off and then the wood block falls off the bottom. I don't think those straps are part of the bike. So let's check it out. Just gonna do my best to undo these straps off the stand. There's one. Woo. There we go. Oh, the front shocks are compressed in the box. So when you undo the straps, it lowers them down. This thing doesn't actually come off though. I'm thinking these screws right here, take those out and then pull the front off. Maybe the block comes out with that. That's not it either. Okay, we're gonna try and remove these two bolts on the side then and see what happens. Turning this to the right to loosen it. And then this is a pin. Okay, all right, it all makes sense now. A lot of low-end e-bikes and stuff will come with a front axle bit that looks like this. It's about this size, but this thing is freaking beefy. Okay, well, learn from my mistakes. All you need to do is take those two screws off, boop, and then the whole thing comes out. I'm gonna snip some zip ties off these plastics for the handlebars. Make sure you're not snipping cables when you do this. Don't get too excited. Make sure not to scratch anything up or clip any wires or do any damage to this bike that didn't already come in shipping. It does have a 6-month warranty through Voro Motors, limited warranty, but it does not include scratches or nuts and screws and things like that. So this is all on you. Make sure you don't screw this up. There aren't any videos like this showing you a detailed how to do this, so that's why we're making this one. I'm gonna mount my bars in the top here first. Ah, here's our other grip. It's the throttle. All right, mounting the handlebars on, taking these 4 screws off front here. So while I do this, I'll tell you some of the reasons you should buy this bike from Voro Motors. There's lots of people that sell this bike. Voro Motors has a 6-month warranty on this thing with all the motors and batteries and components. Doesn't cover screws or scratches or user damage, but still pretty extensive for a bike of this caliber. They also have incredible customer service support. If you call them, they actually do have a phone number and people pick up the phone. You can also email them or schedule a live chat. They call it concierge customer service, and I would agree. It's really hard to find service like that on electric gadgets. They also have financing and extended warranties through third-party companies. You can actually finance the thing, you don't have to buy it outright. And you can buy up to 3-year extended warranty through their extend warranty service. My favorite part about working with them though is that they're actual people who are there answering the phone and answering emails. I think they have a whole few people or a team dedicated to just doing that. A lot of these companies, you feel like you're just emailing into the abyss and you may or may not get an answer eventually, but with Voro, it feels like I'm talking with my friends like at a shop. I like it. But if you get the bike and the battery's dead or the motor won't turn on or something critical, you know, that would cost thousands of dollars, then they'll cover that under warranty. And they'll pay for to and from shipping for the first 30 days. And after 30 days, up to 6 months, they still have a really good warranty, but you are paying the return shipping for parts. Just FYI. Okay, the bars are on. I like that light. That thing looks like it's gonna be hellaciously bright. Is there a little peel I can peel off of it? Ready for this? Oh, oh yeah. Oh wow. That's unfortunate. There isn't enough cable to get the brake lever on with the bars on, so I have to take the bars back off, slide the stuff on, then mount the bars. Don't! That was a waste of 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna cut the camera so I don't run out of batteries, but I'm gonna do that real quick. Take the bars off, slide the components on, then remount the bars. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, got the bars off and I slid the components on. And of course, on the user manual, it actually tells you step-by-step instructions how to install the bars. So don't be like me. You should read this first before you get all excited and try to put it together. All the e-bike pros out there are probably laughing their heads off right now, but this is my first one, you guys. I haven't set one of these up before, so cut me some slack. I'm too excited. So I slid the brake lever on first, then the little horn button thingy, which I think hangs down low, and then the throttle mechanism here. We gotta tighten these. We're gonna tighten the bars first into the position we want them in, and then we're gonna tighten all these components at the angles that we want. And I thought of another reason why you should buy stuff from Voro Motors. They offer insanely fast shipping. By the time my order was placed to the delivery from the freight service, I think it was like 4 or 5 days. And for a lot of scooters, it was like 3 days. So yeah, you could probably get scooters cheaper from somewhere else, but you're probably not gonna get them that quickly, especially if you're ordering from China. You're gonna be waiting all summer for your scooter. Or in the case of the Segway GT2, there was a whole debacle with that thing. People ordered stuff and then they just had to wait months to get it from Segway or Ninebot. A lot of the resellers got hosed on that deal too, because they offered their normal shipping times and then they didn't realize they weren't gonna have the scooters when Segway actually said they would get them the scooters, so yeah. With Voro Motors, if stuff is in stock, you'll get it really quickly if you're in the US. And they do offer international shipping too. They ship worldwide. That's not an easy feat to accomplish either. Worldwide shipping promise. Granted, with international shipping, you're not gonna get it as quickly, but you will still get it. Just lining these bars up like I had them before now. Didn't miss anything else, did I? Let's make sure. Go through and make sure we're not doing this wrong. Okay, we got slack on the cables. Everything looks good there. This, I don't know what this is for yet. We have a little plug. What is this plug for? Let me consult the manual. They've even got little instructions in here for recommended cable routing with the included zip ties, so you know where to secure all this stuff. This is very thorough. And it's in actual well-written English too, not some Chinese English. I've got scooters before where they're just like, step 1, assemble the bars. What? I'm gonna get these all nice and tight because I don't want my bars moving at 60 miles per hour. That would be bad. 6 to 8 Newton meters. To be specific. That feels like about 8. Okay, so that's all on. Next step, tighten all this down. I assume we can use all the included tools for this stuff. So let's get the included tools and see what happens. Not the right size. Looks about right. Slide the horn up there. This camera's probably focusing on my hands. Let's fix that. There, that probably looks better, right? I hope. Okay, horn button secured. Let's get the brake lever all dialed. With a 35-degree angle tilt according to the manufacturer. I'm just gonna match the other side. Okay, everything's all tight. Feels about right. Could probably lower this brake lever down a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's money. Okay, what's the next steps? Probably putting on the front tire, right? Okay, front tire assembly. Let's check out what the manual has to say. Okay, so on both sides of the tire, there's these holes, and there's one on the other side. You wanna take these things that were zip tied to the spokes and just pop them right in there. One on this side and one on this side. I don't think they screw in, they just kind of pop in. They should anyways. There's a little rubber O-ring on this one. Was there one on, yeah, there's one on this one too. I think this is to prevent water from getting into the bearings on the sides of the wheel here. That's what the O-ring is for. Anyway, take that. Okay, complete. Make sure you remove the plastic disc brake pad insert shown with the red arrow before installing the front wheel. Okay, so we're gonna take our disc brake caliper right here, and we're gonna pull this little plastic insert out between the pads. Now you don't wanna squeeze the brake lever while that thing's out, FYI, I know that much. Oh, might need to raise my stand up a little more. We're not high enough off the ground for the tire to fit in. Does the stand go higher? We might have a problem here, Houston. Okay, stand is at maximum stand height, or darn close to it. I feel like it's just gonna fall over, but come on, bushing, don't do that. Okay, I'm gonna slide the disc brake through the caliper here, and then I'm gonna slide the pin through like it was when I took it out of the box. This is the wrong way. So it goes in this way, into the bushing, out of the other bushing. It's kind of hard to push through. I guess that's a good thing. Okay, make sure both my bushings are still secured and spin freely. Yep, wow, okay, that was weird. Got it on though. Sorry if my head was in the way for most of that. And then I need to take this piece that we unscrewed out of the side and screw it into the left side of the fork there. It's a long process, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Okay, where's my tools? It's kind of cool. It actually says the torque spec for this thing on here. 10 to 15 Newton meters. And loosen is to the right. You want to tighten it to the left. It's backwards. Cool. So I think we're all good. Does the front tire spin? Yeah, it spins. Okay, we're good. I gotta put these 4 bolts back in the sides here that I took out earlier. They're right on the ground over here. So I noticed that my tire was wobbling back and forth just a little bit, making a clicking noise. So I took the 4 screws out, those on those side and those on those side, and I tightened the one that goes through this way really tight first. And now I'm gonna put those 2 screws back on either side, and I think that'll fix my problem. But FYI, that's the order that you need to do it in. It's exactly like it says in the manual. I just forgot and did it backwards for some reason. So tighten the long bar first and then the screws that goes on the side, on either side. Okay, so for the next step, per the manual, it says to remove the 3 bolts from underneath here, but I didn't have any bolts and I looked inside of a bag and I have 3 bolts that were included inside of a Ziploc bag. So the fender screws into the 3 screw holes right there. Not very complicated at all. Number 4 hex wrench required. Just goes like that. I'm surprised there aren't little washers that go in there, but I didn't have any included, so let's just assume there aren't any. Okay, there's 1 in. Let's get these other 2 in. They are just screwing into plastic here, so you don't want these to be too tight, but snug is good. There we go. If they start to loosen, we'll notice pretty quickly, I imagine. All right, so next step is the rear suspension. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the foam first. Again, I'm just using wire cutters to snip these off so I don't scratch the beautiful frame. So according to the manual, it says I need to take these 2 screws, off. Take this bolt out, and then we are going to, I guess, push the front tire, or push the back tire up into the hole. Yeah, we have to do that while pushing the screw in. Maybe I can strategically lower the bike down from the stand and have gravity do that for me. That'd be nice. Getting a little workout here. That should do it. Let's stick this back in here. Perfect. And then put the nut on the other side. And tighten that all back up. Well, this is a nylon nut, so when you tighten it down, it like Loctites itself, kind of. Very important. Wouldn't want that bolt to come out while you're riding. Cool, all tight. Yep, nice and tight. Okay, that's done. Couldn't help but notice I have 1 more fender piece. Does this go here maybe? No, where does this go? Oh, it does go there. In the manual, this thing just sort of magically appears in place. But we've got to take off some bolts. There's 1 here and 1 here. Slide this thingy on and then put the bolts back in. All right, they don't tell you that in the manual, but you gotta take out the 2 screws on either side, slide this thing over the brackets, and then put the screws in like that. Hopefully that can focus there, just like that on this side. And then on the other side, there's a little brake cable clasp, which is the part that had me confused, right there. So it goes on the outside of the bracket, and then on the outside of the bracket, but the brake cable clasp goes in between the screw and the fender piece. But this is all on here now, so we're okay. 1 more thing they don't include in this not so great manual. It's really good, it's just not superb because they didn't talk about how to put this on and they didn't mention anything about how to put the pedals on, but I found a picture of the pedals when they're talking about the kickstand in the manual. And there's 2 little tiny protrusions on either side of this middle hole right here. And there are 4 little tiny holes in the pedal right there on the sides of this bracket piece. And the pedals, you can see they kind of are spring loaded so that they stay down. And these 2 little pegs that are sticking out there need to stick into 2 of these holes, and there's only 1 way that that can happen with the pedal upright. So this one goes into here, you can see the pedal's upright. If you try and put the other pedal in the hole and it falls into the 2 pegs right there, you can see this pedal sideways. So this pedal goes on the other side of the bike. But I'm just gonna put this one in like that, and then I'm gonna put this screw right here. Maybe that's what these other 2 bolts are for. Like they didn't realize that I already had 2 on the bike for the pedals, but this bolt goes on the other side. I'm gonna screw it on and the pedal will be secured. Just gonna do that on both sides. This might be easier with a socket wrench actually. Yeah, this is the stuff they don't show you in all the cool videos where they make it seem really easy to put together. They just like hold the pedals in front of the camera and then snap their fingers and they're installed. Yeah, that's not how it goes in real life. Maybe I'll take the stand out of the way, put the bike down on the kickstand, and then try to put the pedals on. Wow, nice hardy kickstand, I like that. All right, sorry about the view, this is the best I can do. But we've got a 17mm socket wrench on the end of a ratchet here. Is this gonna work? Yeah, that'll work. Much easier. There we go, nice and tight. Nobody talks about that step. Why isn't anyone talking about that step? Okay, one other thing I want to talk about while we're down here. This is the pedal on the left-hand side. The kickstand is right here. You got to be careful when you're putting the screw on the other side of this pedal, because you might be able to see here, there's a little tiny wire that hangs down, and it's very thin. It's connected to the kickstand, I believe. It disengages the motors while the kickstand is down, so you don't actually hit the throttle when the bike's parked. But when you're putting the pedal in, you got to be really careful not to damage this wire at all. So Just FYI, that is there. All right, we officially have the E-Ride SS Pro all set up now. I'm gonna go over just a quick overview of all the things that we did and all the things that you should do before you hop on this bike and go ride. So, for starters, we put on the front tire, and you wanna make sure to put the sideways bolt in before you tighten these 4 bolts down. Very important, or else the tire will wiggle back and forth. We screwed on our fender. We put the bars on. You want to make sure to slide these things onto the handlebars before you actually mount the bars. Adjusted the angles of all this. Cable managed that, like I said. We had to put on the rear shock. You just slide the bolt through here, make sure the shock is secured nice and tight. There's no mention of how to put the rear fender or the pedals on in the manual, but you just screw the plastic on the outside of the brackets and make sure not to forget this brake cable wire here. We also had to put on the pedals. Again, no mention of how to do that, but they fold up like this when they're all done. There's notches that slide into the brackets. You want to make sure not to damage the kickstand wire when you're installing the pedals, because there's a little sensor down here that detects when the kickstand is down and disengages the motors. You want to make sure that your brakes are all lined up, they're not rubbing on the disc calipers, and you inflate all the tires, or both tires, to recommended PSI. It says on the side of the tire how much PSI you should put in. It says right here, 32 PSI, so make sure you get your pump these bad boys up. We have our Sport and Eco mode switch right here. This is a regen braking level switch, so you can tell it how much regen braking you want there to be. It's got a really loud horn. Sorry, neighbors. It's got the turbo mode. If you flip this switch, it goes from Eco into Turbo, or Sport into Turbo. Really nice full color display. I really like the display. This is our lights button over here for the front headlight. It's got a twist throttle, like I said earlier. You want to make sure that all this stuff gets tightened after you put the handlebars on. We have our adjustments for preload and compression right here. The keys come in the off position. This thing also has USB-C and QC 3.0 USB charging right here, so you can charge your devices, your phone and such while you're on the go. That's very cool. I didn't even know it had that feature. Before the bike will turn on, it comes to you in a sleep mode. You want to unlatch the front cubby right here. You want to reach in and flip the red switch to the right that's in the front of the battery there. That'll turn on the battery. When you flip the switch to the right, it takes the battery out of sleep mode. You can push this button right here to see how much charge you have on the battery. Right now we're between 3 and 4 bars, I guess. You want to make sure these 2 wires are plugged in, and then you have your charge port over here on the side, which you can access with the cubby hold down, like that. So you can charge the bike up when you're on the go. Once you flip that red switch inside here, then you can take your keys and put them in the bike. This activates the battery in the middle, and then on obviously turns the bike on. You don't have to push any buttons, you just turn that. Get a nice little boot up display there, and you're all good to go. Sorry, that was a lot of talking. Very long-winded, I know, but there's a lot to say in a short amount of time. If you noticed I did anything wrong, feel free to call me out in the comments. If you have any questions, again, ask them in the comments. I feel like I know this bike pretty well now, so I'll answer all your questions. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. All right, well, we've got this bike all set up. Thanks for watching, and big thanks again to Voro Motors for sending this thing out. I've got a link and a coupon code in the description of this video if you want to pick one up for yourself. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to be doing lots of ride videos on this thing. It should be a really fun time. I'm definitely looking forward to it, but first I got to charge this thing up. So let's do that, and I'll see you for the next video.